Cisco Tactical Operations. This is an operations team inside of Cisco. And what we do is we provide emergency communications in disasters. Basically what we try and do is come in the acute phase of an emergency. It used to be that you could just go into a disaster response, so you could have radios and you could have a pot of coffee and a whiteboard and you were good. But nowadays that just doesn't fly. You need to have access to the internet. You need to be able to have email. You need to be able to have geospatial location. You need to know where your folks are. You need to get on-ground capabilities. You need to be able to know what resources you want where. And you also need to be able to source resources from all over the globe, especially if you have a very complex disaster, something like Japan or Haiti. So what Cisco does is it really tries to bring technology to a level where first responders can use it, make it easy, make it accessible, bring in voice, bring in video, bring in data, and really enhance what you could normally not do in a disaster. And now all of a sudden you have all of this different information and communication is much better, and as a result you save more lives.
When our team activates, we may be activating for a local event, something that is only 10 minutes away, or something that's on the other side of the globe. And that's one of the unique capabilities we have. So that means that we have to be able to interface and work with our local partners, our regional partners, and indeed our international partners. And we spend a lot of time actually working with all these different groups, developing those relationships. Once the emergency happens, it's too late to exchange business cards, because the acute phase of that emergency, that first 24 to 72 hours of that emergency, that's when communications, or the lack thereof, is going to be the difference between life and death. And so Cisco has this real commitment towards giving back, being not just best in the world, but best for the world, as we say. And that's part of it. That's saying that if the emergency happens tomorrow, we can respond to it tomorrow in a very real-time fashion.
And that's actually a really interesting point, because initially when this team started off, one of our main purviews was really to support Cisco in a disaster. In the last couple of years that's changed. Our CEO came down and said, you know, if there's a disaster, I want you out there helping the rest of the community, not necessarily here helping Cisco. So that's been very empowering for us to know that our CEO is behind us 100%.